Hi, I'm Jordan, and today we're going to be looking at how to remove a scratch from a freshly painted panel this time. We've actually painted this panel and it's been damaged while it's being moved around. So yes, we have the joy of trying to remove this rather long scratch. It's not too deep, but hopefully we should be able to flat it out and remove the scratch. So let's go ahead and use some 2000 and polish it up, fingers crossed. Okay, so the first step to try and remove this scratch, we're going to apply some fresh water out of a water bottle. Try not to use dirty water out of a bucket because that's going to cause more damage in the long run. And we're going to be using a block with P2000, and we're just going to slowly flat around that area where the scratch is in a circular motion. Try not to go backwards and forwards because you're going to put cut marks into it. And we're just going to lightly flat around the area where the scratch is. And hopefully we can remove that scratch. So we're just going to stop now, and I'm going to wipe it with a microfiber and just see where we're at with the scratch. Now it's going to be hard for you guys to see it on camera because it's going to look quite, I don't know, matte around this area, but that scratch is still there. It is actually a deep one. Now the water's dry, you should be able to see that scratch actually around there. So we do need to work at it a little bit more and try and flat that scratch more to get rid of it. As soon as water goes on this area, it looks fine, it looks like there's no scratch there at all, but when you dry it down and it's fully dry, you'll see that scratch come back again if it's not been flattered down enough. What I do recommend is if you're a newbie at flatting and removing scratches like this, take your time, work at it for a couple of seconds to 30 seconds, stop, wipe it with a microfiber, check to see where you're at, because if you go too far you're obviously going to cut through the clear coat and then you're going to have the bumper repainted. So that's one thing you do need to be careful of, is getting those reworks. For us in a paint shop, you know, it's not too bad, but if you're on your drive doing this, you don't want to cost yourself more money in the long run than is if you was to take it to a body shop to have them flat and polish it. So I've just dried that area there, and I can still see that scratch just a little bit down here. It is going now, so fingers crossed we should be able to get that scratch out. What I'm going to do now is work in smaller areas, start from at the top here and slowly work my way down, just so I know how much I'm flatting in that area, because this is where you're prone to go through. So if you're doing this on your drive or DIY, I'd recommend you stop at this point and seek, you know, professional advice from a body shop or a detailer who's got experience in doing this, because you don't want to you know, make things worse for yourself. So again, even I'm just going to a point, stopping, wiping it with a microfiber just to check to see where we're at. So I can see now we've removed that top bit of the scratch, and we're just focusing on this little bit here now. So working in blocks, slowly working our way down, definitely helps, just so you know what part of that scratch we're working on. And at this point I'm applying medium pressure, so I am really, you know, trying to get that scratch out now. Again, I was the person that painted this panel, so I do know how much clear coat I've put on, so I kind of know when I should stop. But you know, even us painters still get to that point where we can go through. We don't know, you know, to the micron how thick this is on the bumper, so Yep, we've just gone down to there now, so we can continue on to the bottom, and then that'll be ready for polishing up. Right, so that's this scratch fully flatted out. So we've took it to quite a big area really, if you're saying the scratch was just here, but when you use a block you are going to make that area bigger around here anyway. So we're going to polish that up, and hopefully that's the scratch removed, so we've saved this bumper from being repainted. So let's go ahead and polish it up using the raw compounds. So we're using the raw 610 extreme cut compound, and we're using the matching polishing pad from raw along with the Chicago Pneumatic electric polisher. So just going over with the first pass of the compound, I can see that the scratch has been flattened out, so we don't need to worry about the scratch being there. And nearly all the flatting marks have come out as well actually, so we're just going to go over once more with the compound and hopefully that's done. I'm a bit heavy-handed with the compound, to be fair. Some people might use a little bit less. I don't think you do need to use as much as I'm using, but yeah, I'm a bit heavy-handed. I can't help it at times. Right, so that's the second pass with the raw 610. Hopefully that should be enough for this bumper. If it was a dark colour, I might be tempted to go over it with 620, which is the fine, but you know, it's up to you whether you think it needs using or not really. So just give that bumper a final inspection just to make sure there's no problems, no flatting marks. I think I might have just missed a few flatting marks at the bottom here, to be fair. So this is a good point now just to double check, make sure there's nothing left over. I think it's just that bit there. So again, we'll just put a bit of compound just on that bottom bit. Again, we all miss bits, so just don't worry about it. And yep, that's all good. That's the scratch fully removed. So we'll get a close-up of that. And there we go, that's removing the scratch out of the bumper using the raw 610 only. It's come up like glass, as you can tell, it's like a mirror. So we're very happy with that indeed, very happy.